Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's video, we are talking about Cherry Falls. This is a 2000s slasher film which stars Brittany Murphy as our main protagonist and follows the story of a small town where their virgins are being targeted by a mass killer. So this film was definitely very interesting. I was actually kind of surprised that I hadn't heard about this one until very recently, and I am blanking on where I heard about this film, but I had heard about it recently and decided to watch it. It is available to watch on Shudder. So if you have a Shudder account, that is just where I watched it. If you don't know what Shudder is, not sponsored, but it's basically like the Netflix for horror, so I'm sure most of you know what it is. So yeah, this film is very interesting. Like I said, it stars the late, great Brittany Murphy. Definitely made me kind of sad, miss her. Wish she was definitely still with us. But this film also has a large cast of other familiar faces. The film opens with a scene of a couple making out in a car. The boyfriend in that scene is played by Jesse Bradford, who is also in Swim Fan, another fantastic horror film, as well as in Bring It On, as well as the teacher being played by, and I might pronounce his name wrong, but I think it's Jay Moore is how I think that's how it's pronounced, but if you don't recognize him by name, you would definitely recognize him by face. There are definitely a lot of people that pop up through this film that are very recognizable, but it's definitely a very, I feel like, 2000s cast. But my general opinion, I really liked the film. I thought it was a lot of fun. I am a big fan of whodunit style slashers, obviously, Scream being my favorite of all time, but I love the kind of like guessing, not really knowing who did it style, and waiting till kind of the last act to find out. I love that in my slasher films, and this film did that, which of course made it a lot of fun for me. And I honestly didn't see it coming who it was. Like, of course, I'm guessing throughout the film as I'm watching, trying to figure out who I think it was. I initially thought maybe the kind of boyfriend in the opening, or Brittany Murphy's character's boyfriend maybe, was involved in it, but I never really guessed the final reveal of it. But they do kind of try to play up the idea that it is a woman. They show the killer wearing nail polish in the very first kill scene, and then later on in scenes they're wearing like a skirt and long hair, and they really try to play it up as if it was a woman, and then they end up even trying to trick you into thinking it's this particular woman, Sharon. I am going to give a little bit of a spoiler because we do come to find out that there's 4 boys who, while from that same high school several years earlier, were involved in a rape, and we are led to believe that the woman they raped is coming back to seek her revenge. That's where they kind of try to take the story. So trigger warning for that. There's a lot of mention of that, and there is even a scene where they kind of flash back and replay it, which I had a feeling that was coming, and I was like, are they really gonna like make us watch it? And so that was kind of disappointing, I'm not gonna lie, but I think they handled it pretty okay, especially for like a 2000s film. And I mean, there's movies from any decade that have not handled that topic well, in my opinion. And I feel like they kind of did okay. It's not super graphic, but it's still pretty uncomfortable. So just, if you're not a fan of that kind of content that is in there, it is towards the end of the film, and it's not, at that, I think part of the reason I had a problem with it is the fact that it's not a big reveal. Like, there's some information in the retelling of the story that reveals things, but I didn't really feel like it was necessary, and I think that's where I ended up having the problem with it, was like, we've already known that this happened. You could still reveal that information without having to do like a play-by-play flashback of the events So I think that's just where it kind of lost me. And the film did, which can often happen, start to drag on at points. You kind of have your killer reveal, and then it takes a really long time for them to kind of defeat the killer, and it just kind of drags on, and there's this whole sex party scene, which is part of it, because the virgins of the town are trying to lose their virginity so that they can't be killed. So it was kind of a funny aspect of the film, and you kind of knew that was gonna happen because they're fucking teenagers and they're not very smart. But we're kind of taken away from the party scene and then brought back again, and that kind of dragged on for a little bit as well. But even with those kind of things that I wasn't a super big fan of, I still, all in all, enjoyed the film. I still thought it was a really good slasher film, and definitely underrated for sure. So if you have not seen Cherry Falls, I highly suggest checking it out. Like I said, I watched it on Shudder, so if you have a Shudder account, you can check it out there. It may be on like Amazon Prime or some other places as well, but definitely, if you are a slasher fan and you have not seen this one, I definitely suggest checking it out. So if you have seen Cherry Falls, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, please do give it a big old thumbs up, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button for more horror-related content, and I will see you all again later with another video. Bye!